Hey guys,
Hi,
welcome to the Sip and See podcast. I'm your co host, Jasmine.
I'm Crystal.
And if you are new, guys, what do we tell our viewers every single time and listeners? Bible, beverage, and a cozy spot to watch our
Yep.
episode right now. Happy October,
Yes,
everyone.
I can't believe we're already in October. That's crazy.
That means we literally have 2 full months and then like half of another month,
We're like
80 something days until Christmas.
at this point, I think so.
Oh my
I think so. I
gosh.
remember seeing like 100 days not too long ago. I was like, "There's no way,
No way.
no way."
This year went by so quick.
I
By
know.
the grace of God, we've made it through so
Yes,
far.
yes,
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, guys. We're in October. It's starting to get a little bit cooler, where we
yes. At
live.
least at nighttime or early in the morning.
Yeah. I pray that it gets colder for sure.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
that now that we're getting to, now that we are in the Burr months, I
Gosh,
would love
my favorite
crisp
time of the year.
weather. Oh my gosh, I'm just so jealous for all the people that live up north and everywhere where it
I
has like
know, I
four
know.
seasons.
I know I saw your mom posted something where she's at and she's like,
Yes.
it's gonna snow soon.
And
And
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
this
dang,
girl rubbing it in my face.
for real.
Oh my gosh. But guys, happy October. We're so excited. We're in a brand new month. So you guys know what that means. That means we are full of brand new episodes for you guys.
Yes.
If you haven't already, guys, September was absolutely amazing. We got to talk about identity in Christ and what the Lord is doing in us once we are adopted into his kingdom. So go
Yeah.
check that out. Find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify to find all of our episodes and our miniature brew breaks that you could also find there as well.
Yes.
Don't forget, though, we're kind of popping off on social media. So follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and join our Facebook community group under Sip and See Community. And we would love to hear you guys and what you guys want to hear from us. So,
Yes.
yes, don't
Please
forget.
ask us stuff.
Yes, I know. Like, don't be boring. Like, have a conversation with us. Don't ghost us. This episode is gonna be a little bit different. I mean, how it's gonna go is gonna be the same. Of course, we're gonna pray before we get
Of
started,
course, yes.
but it's gonna be different in the sense where we're just kind of gossiping
Chitty chatting.
and chitty chatting. I
Yeah.
know I shouldn't say gossiping. Gossiping's bad, but we're kind of gonna just get into some topics
Yeah.
that might be semi
Semi
controversial.
controversial. Yeah.
Nothing crazy. I guess in the Christian community, we're going to talk about tattoos. We're going to talk about ring before spring or ring by spring.
Mm-hmm.
How long or how early is too early or too long to be engaged
Yeah.
before getting married? And we're going to talk about, since we are in the month of October, should we be celebrating Halloween, especially kids? And if you don't celebrate Halloween, which we'll advocate for to,
Right, right.
kind of get more Christian about it, what you guys can do to kind of flip it around and keep Christ at the center in
Definitely.
a month like October, and other fun, more controversial, semi controversial topics. We're not going to get crazy, semi controversial topics. So, again, guys, we're going to have a fun episode. I'm really excited because honestly, I know you guys have heard me like preach at you, but we're just going to have a simple conversation, share our opinions,
Yes.
and don't be afraid to share your opinions with us because, again, this is a community and we want to hear from you guys. But yeah, again, how we always start, everybody bow your head, close your eyes as we get into some wonderful prayers. Again, if you're driving, please be careful.
Yes.
But be in the presence with us. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for entering us into the month of October with fresh minds, fresh eyes, fresh hearts, and ears, Lord. Lord, we love you and we can't wait to see what the month of October has, not only for us, but for the viewers here online. Lord, even though we're having a funny episode, this is still all about you, Lord.
Yes.
And we keep you at the center of it always. Remind us that you are a wonderful and amazing God. You are an amazing Father, Lord. Not only do you bless us, but even if it was without blessing, your Son dying on the cross is more than enough, Lord.
Yes.
We love you. We thank you. We love the viewers and the community that you've created here, Lord. And amen.
Amen.
I'm about to get into it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about that first topic
Okay.
of tattoos.
Yes.
So I don't have any tattoos.
Neither do I.
But I've wanted a tattoo since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I wanted a tattoo that was a bouquet of flowers. I know, kind of cringy. No, but for a bouquet of flowers that was the birth flowers of my parents and my siblings,
Right.
just to kind of signify growth and just always them supporting me, all of that jazz, sentimental, yes, I am. And one other tattoo would have been a cross behind my ears.
Okay.
I think they're cute. I love
Oh
a
yeah.
dainty tattoo.
Yes. The single line tattoos, those are really cute.
But there is some controversy behind tattoos
Mm-hmm.
about whether or not Christians should have them.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tricky topic,
It
you know. I
is.
mean, I know there's Bible verses that talk about like branding your body or not
Hmm.
marking your body for the dead. So I know that it's one of those Bible verses that's like cherry picked, you know. They're
Yeah.
like, okay, if it benefits me, I'm gonna talk about it, or I'm gonna bring this up and say,
Hmm.
oh yeah, no, I'm not marking my body for the dead. I'm not branding my body.
Yeah.
But then you have the other side that's like, well, no, this is what the Bible says.
Yeah.
Or the other one where it says like Jesus is gonna come when he comes back and he's gonna have written on his thighs.
It's gonna be
Uh,
tatted up.
yeah, yeah, I think it's gonna be like King of Kings, but other translations say it's like it's gonna be on the hem
His
of his
garments.
garments. Yes. So it is one of those semi-controversial topics.
Semi controversial.
um, but no, I mean, I've seen pastors with tattoos.
Right?
My grandparents never liked tattoos.
Mm,
But that hasn't stopped. Like some of my cousins have getting tattoos, or even like one of their kids and their
mm.
significant other getting tattoos. I won't put them on blast. But
Semi blast.
well, yeah.
You know who you are.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but like for me, I did want one too.
Hmm.
I don't remember what age I wanted one, but I know I think it was around like 18,
Okay.
joining the military. Everybody gets a tattoo when they're
At
in the military.
18, yeah. Oh,
Yes.
in the
Or in the
military.
military and at 18. Once they're able
Yes.
to sign for this themselves, they're able to get a tattoo. But one thing my mom told me was like, okay. Oh, and I wanted my belly button pierced, which I did get that pierced, but that closed up a long time ago. Um, but my mom was like, okay, we'll take you, we'll do the belly button piercing,
Hmm.
but wait until you're 21
For the
to
tattoo.
for the tattoo.
Got you.
And I'm way past 21. I know I don't look like it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm way past 21 and I still don't have a tattoo. And I know like another reason I don't have a tattoo is like, yeah, I mean, your dad doesn't like tattoos. Not saying that I like changed myself for him, but
Got you.
out of respect, you know,
Mm.
I I didn't get a tattoo. You know, I mean, sometimes I joke around with your dad. Even I think even the other day we were sitting on the couch. I was like, "Hey," I think he was bored. We were bored as the weekend, and I don't know where you were, but you
He
weren't
was
here.
gone
Yeah, no,
apparently.
well, apparently, yeah. And I was like, "Hey, you want to go get a tattoo?" He looked at me like,
You're crazy.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that."
Oh my
And I mean,
god.
for me, it's a joke, but I just like to see his reaction.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My dad hates tattoos. Literally made me promise to never get a tattoo. And I can't even remember how old I was when I was like, okay, dad, I promise you. Guys,
I think you were like real young.
yeah, I was like, before I could even understand, like, anyways,
Yeah.
but I, this man has held it against me for at least a decade. Well, you promised me you would never get a
Yeah,
tattoo.
yeah, yeah.
And so many of my friends are like, well, you're an adult, it's your body now. And I'm like, not really, because my dad still will beat, you
Yes, yes,
know,
yes. I'm so sorry.
no, no, no.
I'm sorry to put you on blast like this, or maybe your
Oh,
dad on blast like this, but
snap.
I know he has his thunder belt. That's another topic for another day. Disciplining children and
Oh my
whatnot.
gosh.
But I don't know why we started talking about it, but this
Okay.
morning, literally this morning, he was
He just knew what we were going to talk
I know,
about
right?
today.
No, he was trying to match like um his shoes in his belt because he had got a
Okay.
new pair of shoes. And he's like, should I wear this one or this one? And I was like, why do you still have that belt? He's like, oh, I'm gonna pass this down to Jasmine, that way she can use it for her kids and stuff. And it
Those.
was you know the belt. And then there's one obviously with your brother's name on it, and I was like, is this one gonna be for him? He's like, yeah, maybe.
Oh my gosh, guys, my butt is like imprinted on that belt.
What? Yeah. So
My
that
my dad is not a horrible dad. Let me preface, he doesn't just beat us for fun.
no, no, no. I mean, but you got to rear your children. It says it
Yeah.
in the Bible. I promise.
Yes, I promise. Discipline's okay. Oh my
No, but yeah.
gosh.
So yeah, your dad. And you know what's funny is that like I forget what age, it was probably around like 16, 18, around there.
Yeah,
He wanted a tattoo too,
I know.
but he talked to his grandpa about it or his pops,
Yeah.
and his pops told him some stuff. I'm not gonna repeat what he said on here. But he made him promise to never get a tattoo. And I think that's why he holds that like over you.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I, well, I will say, you know what? I will say, I still get my little like waves of like I
yeah.
want to go get a tattoo. And then as I'm 22 years old
Mhm.
and honestly, I could have pulled a do it now and ask for forgiveness
Oh
later kind
yeah.
of
Yeah.
situation. But I don't know. One, my dad, like the fear that it's a healthy fear, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
respectful fear. It's the kind of fear you should have with the Lord is the kind of fear I have with my dad.
Yeah.
Um
He's a teddy bear, but he's still a bear.
yeah, exactly. But one that of like, man, knowing that if I got one, he's gonna be like, well, you promised me. It would have been this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But now that I am older, I kind of like, I'm the very few people, at least that I know my age,
Yeah.
that doesn't have a tattoo. Because, like we just said, once a lot of kids turn 18, graduate high school, the
Yep.
first thing that they do is go get a tattoo.
Mhm.
And like even so much so that when our church turned 18 that they were
Oh, I
handing
forgot
out
about
little
that.
tattoos of the church logo. Like it's just such a like
That's so funny.
rite of
Yeah.
passage as an adult. And I'm just like, well, the more I think about it, I'm like, I've gone this long without one. And then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, it can be cute now, but like when I'm 40, 50,
Is it still gonna
60,
be
is it going to
cute?
be
Yeah.
cute, And I have nothing against tattoos. Like not to be like, oh, forget what the Bible says. Like no, nothing like that. I think because that verse is such a cherry picked verse, like
Mhm.
I'm not going to like say it's wrong or anything like that, but
Right.
I feel like we will never understand the true context of that verse until we're up in heaven asking
Yeah.
God like was it such a sin,
Mhm,
to
mhm.
mark your body? Because like the other thing is in Revelations they talk about the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a level of conviction that will
Mhm.
happen if you're supposed to get a tattoo or not.
Right.
There are some people who get one and feel no convictions, and to be honest, that's between you and God.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, do I like when people bring it up and are, like you said, cherry picking and was like, but it's at the end of the day, that's truly between that person and God, the kind of
Of
decisions
course,
that
yeah.
they make. So I have nothing against them. Silas has a tattoo,
Mhm.
and I don't think it's ugly. There are so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
tattoos out there that I think, are cute. However, I will be putting my boyfriend on blast. However, he's not getting this tattoo anymore, and he's probably going to hate me for telling this story. But he literally is, and this is kind of the topic that I'm kind of going to get into about the I think this is my personal
Yeah, yeah.
controversy about um tattoos is the kind of tattoo you get.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So Silas is really into anime. Obviously, one of our cousins is really into anime, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has anime tattoos as well. Blah 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 blah. I personally will never understand that. But again, that's between you and God and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But Silas was like, I want this tattoo on my arm. And so much so that we got into an argument about it of like, hey, if you don't want my opinion, don't ask for it kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think it's ugly. I think it's tacky. I think I was honestly like, I was holding nothing back about
Yeah.
it. I just really didn't want him to get the tattoo. And he kind of fired back and was like, I'm gonna get it anyways, and
Mm-hmm.
my body, and I'm like, you're right, it is
He's
your
being
body.
spicy.
Right. He was getting sassy. He was on his period. If you guys don't know what that is, that's a man period. Um, he was being sassy about it, and basically he was like, I'm gonna get it, it's my body. And I was like, you're right, it is your body. We're not married,
Right. Yeah.
I can't stop you. Even if we are married, I can't stop you from doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I just don't be surprised if I will constantly express how much I absolutely hate that
Yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah.
And I'm telling him the same thing, like, what is it going to look like, X amount of years later,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, there's just, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would understand if it's like the Lion of Judah with the cross, because like one, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And if you're gonna brand yourself, I guess brand yourself with the Lord.
Yeah.
That's why I said one of the main tattoos I wanted to get was a cross behind my ear,
Mm-hmm.
Not that that defines me as a Christian or anything like that,
Yeah.
but like, I'd always be carrying my cross forever. And so I understood that I could relate to. I can't. And this is where my controversy is about tattoos is if I don't like it, I will say something. One, two, I don't like them chunky. I don't like them thick. I don't like them with a lot of color. I don't like them if they just don't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I feel like every tattoo should like have a story behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like coloring or drawing, what's the
Mhm.
story behind that drawing or that painting?
Yeah.
You're just putting it on your body.
Yeah.
And I like the story behind, your bouquet of flowers if you were to get one, and then obviously
Mm,
your cross.
we'll
For
see.
me, I just wanted one back then. I really don't know what I would have gotten.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like if I did get anything, it would be something of meaning.
Yeah.
Um, and oh my gosh, it reminds me of like my mom. My mom for years, I think still to this day,
Oh
like she wants
no.
one. But I remember back when she was 35-ish,
Mhm.
around that. I don't want to age her like that. Sorry, ma. But if anybody knows about Miami Ink, have you ever heard of Miami Ink?
No.
No. Oh, it was back
Back
many
when?
moons ago.
Oh my gosh. Sorry,
But
Tifa. Don't mean to age you.
yeah, no, sorry. But we would watch that show. I'd watch it with her.
Okay.
And these are very like,
Intricate. Like,
yes, the
okay.
detail that these people would put into that tattoos were like amazing. And
Mm.
one of her cousins lived in Miami, and he was like, "Come, if you're serious, come. We're gonna get you a tattoo from these people."
Mm.
Well, this day she doesn't have any tattoos, but she wanted one. I remember we would go to Universal,
Okay.
and they would have, I don't know if they still have them now, but the little tattoo
I
stands.
like the henna
Henna,
tattoos.
yeah.
Okay.
And what's the wrestler's name? But Batista.
Uh,
Uh,
the one that was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
yes, him.
Okay.
Well, he has a tattoo around his belly button that's like of a sun,
Okay.
and she wanted one like that too.
Dang,
And
y'all are so promiscuous.
and like I'm like, at that time I think everybody was getting tattoos like that. I'm sure there are plenty of people to this day that have a tattoo like that, but she wanted one of those. She wanted, oh, now she wants one like right up here. um I don't know if she'll ever get it. Maybe not, but I don't know.
Never say never, I guess.
No, you can't, no. And but yeah, no, like for me, like I wanted one. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
one. Sometimes it crosses my mind, but like you
Yeah.
said, the longer you go without one,
I know.
y-
I'm just like, I want to be so different that I might as well just not have one.
Yeah.
I again, like, I understand, I understand them because again, I get those waves of like, I
Of
want
course.
one. But then sometimes I'm just like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think too, there was also that reality TV show of like botched ink.
Oh my gosh,
And
yeah.
I was so like just imagining like that's on my body forever. Now, obviously, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be crazy and get those kinds of tattoos that those people usually get when they're
Mhm.
on those shows. But I'm just like, no, 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 no. I don't know. I'm like, if I just get so scared, like just
Yeah.
the thought. And again, I have nothing against people who have tattoos.
Right.
I guess for me to understand it though, is like it just has to make sure it has like good meaning. Cause like
Yeah.
even when Silas was explaining like, oh, I want this certain anime character because
Mhm, mhm.
it relates to me in some way, shape, or
Right.
form. I'm just like, okay, I get it. And my exact words to him were, it's cool to have it on a t-shirt. Not so sure about you having it on your
Yeah,
body
yeah.
for the rest of your life. And I'm just like, you know what? If he hates me for like a little bit because I'm just not like advocating for it,
Yeah.
at least like that's fine. Because in the long run, at least he realizes that I'm telling him because I personally just don't think it will look good.
Right.
But you mentioned
Mhm.
about how you don't get a tattoo out of respect as well for like dad and
Yeah.
like his thoughts about tattoos because
Mhm.
like despite the promise that he made to Pops about like how he would never get a
Yeah.
tattoo, he could have been still like, oh, it doesn't matter what I promised to Pops,
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
okay if my significant other has one, or I think they're cool, or
Yeah.
whatever. But obviously we know how dad feels about tattoos. He
Yeah,
just really
yeah.
doesn't like them and personal preference. um but what are your thoughts about things like that? Because again, like I have like with Silas a semi story of like, hey, I really don't
Yeah.
like it, and now he's not getting the tattoo, and I'm sure a majority of it has to do with like how I felt
Right,
about
right.
it. But like, how far is too far when it comes to like, I don't want to say the wishes, but like the
Yeah.
desires of like your partner, like for
I
you.
mean, we're nobody's property, honestly.
Right.
Obviously we have that respect, that
Mhm.
surrender. Um, but as long as they're not like demanding
Oh
you
yeah,
or like,
yeah.
hey, you can't do this or like
Or else,
or
yeah,
else.
like an ultimatum.
Yeah, I think it's just that. But for me, like I said, it's just out of respect, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, do I really really want, like, what's the true reason why I want this? Am I gonna
Yes.
feel better about it, or am I gonna feel worse?
Right.
Am I gonna have to hear it like, oh, I told you so? Now it looks ugly,
Yeah.
or God forbid, gets infected. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't want to hear that. You know what I
That's
mean?
so true.
Again, I mean, still sometimes it crosses my mind. I won't lie, but I'll get over it. And I'm not sure if I know you've heard, but I'm not sure if the viewers or
Mhm.
the listeners have heard, but like that box ink, I believe
Oh
that's what
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like for me, if I was gonna do something or to test it out, I would do something like that.
Yeah, just something
Something
temporary.
temporary, lasts a couple weeks, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
And if I like it, how I like it, how it looks on me, excuse me, um, then maybe we'll talk and we have that conversation. And but I think it's the communication aspect. You
Yeah.
have to be able to communicate. And yeah, that's all really it boils down to. I mean, I just remember him, like, when we first got together, him mentioning it. He never told me like, I don't want you to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't like women with
He just
tattoos.
doesn't prefer it.
Yeah, it's his preference. And even with makeup and hair coloring, like, I mean, I
Mhm.
still wear makeup. I color my hair. I don't do anything crazy. But but yeah, I mean, it's
He's just a very all natural kind of
he really
man.
is. I mean, shucks, even when it comes to nails, I haven't really done my nails for a while, other than like if there's like
An event.
an event, holiday, vacation.
Period.
Um,
Shout out to my cousin who's getting married
oh my
in a
gosh, yeah, I
couple
can't wait
days.
to get my nails done. Um, and we'll share those. We'll take pictures.
Yes, yes, yes.
um, but but yeah, I mean, again, it's just respect and communication
I
for
mean,
me.
wouldn't you think it's kind of a compliment though that dad loves you for who you are and like
Oh,
wants you at your
absolutely.
all
My
natural,
natural, yes.
wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
kind of
I
situation.
mean, well, shucks, yeah. I mean, sometimes I wake up and I look at myself, I'm like, ooh,
You like
you like what's going on? And he's like, yeah, I know. But I know it's out of
best
love and
friend
yes,
humor.
that's it. It really is.
That's so
Uh,
funny.
but no, and also, oh my gosh, I remember this. I think I was about like 16, maybe 17 years old,
Mhm.
and as the majority of you guys know, my grandparents are pastors,
Shout out.
and I remember visiting them, and I I'm gonna age myself with this,
Oof.
but those quarter machines with like the either the gumball,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
toy or whatever. Well, they used to have the temporary tattoos.
Okay,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember getting one of those, and I had one of my cousins help me put it on, and I put it on like right up here, like,
Crystal.
and I remember. I mean, we had the bathroom door open, and I'm the princess of the family. Just letting you guys know. Um, and my uncles were there, and the word spread around. Oh, Crystal has a tattoo, and like my aunts and I think grandma was even a part of it. That like, oh yeah, Crystal did get a tattoo, but the guys, my uncles and my grandpa went like, no way. There's no way that she got a tattoo, and like
Oh my
it
god.
was playing around. Well, I mean, I ended up telling them no, it's fake. It's just temporary. And that night we had church. And
Did Grandpa bring it up
he
in
did
his?
not know,
Okay,
but
okay.
never felt as uncomfortable as I did in that service,
Oh
you
god.
know? And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't feel like I should be in the church at all. Like I have this tattoo. I made them disappointed." And that was just me,
Oh,
my
that's so
young heart and like not
sad.
wanting to disappoint anybody. And
About
again, if
that.
y'all know about the perfection episode, like that's one of the
Yes.
things that I had struggled with is feeling like I need to be perfect because again, I'm the princess. Hello.
Good.
but but no, like I felt so uncomfortable in that, and it was temporary. I could have scrubbed it off, but
Oh
I
my
had it
gosh.
on, and I'm like,
She was living on
do I
the
really need
edge.
one of these?
Oh my gosh.
But I think that's one of the things that sticks in the back of my mind when I start thinking
Oh,
about,
that
okay, do I that
feeling.
feeling? Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, it's one of those semi-controversial things. It's your own, your heart, your conviction.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, like I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah.
Um, but if you
That's
do it, it's fine. I'm not judging you.
no, absolutely not. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is like at the end of the day, like I feel like that verse is such like you said, it's a cherry picked
You're
verse.
right.
But again, at the end of the day, with anything that anybody does,
Mm-hmm.
that's between you and God,
Always,
and the
yeah.
Lord will convict you. And that's like I think too, like when I start thinking about it, it's like, like I don't know, I don't want to say I fail in other places, but
Mm-hmm.
like I could help get some brownie points with the
Right,
Lord,
right,
like
right. If you
if
don't have any,
I don't have a tattoo. Again, all of this is for like laughs and giggles and stuff like
yeah,
that. But like, I don't know, like I never understood why there was so much controversy about it.
right,
It's like honestly, my personal opinion, you're gonna go to I don't want to say you're gonna go to hell, but like there are other ways that is really gonna separate you from God,
right, right.
than me personally thinking a tattoo would really separate you from God.
Excuse me.
And then too, like that verse was in the Old Testament, and there
Mm-hmm,
are so
mm-hmm.
many things that like is said in the New Testament that like I don't want to say contradicts the Old Testament,
Right.
but like even like with me, like there's like a lot of not trying to compare apples to oranges kind of situation, but what I'm saying is like, in the Old Testament, certain animals were seen as unclean and like people couldn't eat
Yeah.
them. And then in the New Testament, Jesus is saying like all meats are clean or all things are clean,
Right.
for me and in that whole situation. So what I'm getting at is that there are a lot of things specifically in the Old Testament that
Yeah.
there's a lot of controversy around
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, well, the New Testament says a
Yeah.
different thing. And to be fair, like me personally, when we think about the Old Testament, it is a foundation, of course,
Mm-hmm.
as a whole. Like everything that is read through the Bible should be taken into context, should be read and
Yeah.
marinated on. Like, there's no like, oh, skip the Old Testament, just go to the New. No, read all of it. It all has its context and it all has its foundations.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are just certain things like in the Old Testament, and I feel like older generations
Mhm,
too
mhm.
tend to cling on to it
Yeah.
because it's like, you know, darn if you do, darn if you don't kind of
Right,
situation.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, well, this is what the Bible says,
Mhm,
and it's
mhm.
like, okay, but also, you know, Paul writes some scripture down in the New Testament and is, talks about living a certain way and,
Yeah.
all of that. So I really think when it comes to tattoos, even though there's still such a controversy around it in the Christian community,
Mhm.
um, pray about it. Like
Always.
like Tita had told you, like wait till you're 21.
Mhm.
I think if you're truly thinking about marking your body with whatever it may be, like I really think people should just like pray about it.
Mhm.
All things you should do, you should pray about. But specifically when it comes to something like that, because the Lord will reveal to you whether or not. Like if you're genuinely
Yes,
asking,
definitely.
like, Lord, is this okay? The Lord will reveal that to you.
Of
He's
course.
not gonna let you walk blindly.
Mhm.
I'm so focused on prioritizing other things.
Mhm.
So like a tattoo really hasn't been a priority for me.
Yeah.
I realize that when I think about tattoos, it's because like I'm bored and I'm like, how can I change myself up? So then I'm like, you know what? What can I change about myself that
Right.
will go back to normal? And
Yeah.
so I find myself cutting my hair a lot, or coloring it, or putting on some makeup, or buying clothes. I have
Yeah.
unfortunately, my other vices
Right,
to
right.
take care of that stuff. But that's why I'm like, I kind of think about it and I'm like, do I really want to change my body forever in
Mhm.
that way? But these are all personal
Of
preferences.
course, yeah. Shucks, I have a Pinterest board
You
dedicated to
do. That is
tattoos,
so
and
true.
like I'll go in there and I'll scroll and I'll look. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll save this for later. You know,
Yes.
I hadn't, like you said earlier,
Mhm.
never say never.
Yeah,
You
never say
know, I
never.
mean, maybe one day me and I might go get one.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Let me leave it on this note when it comes to tattoos because I definitely want to get into the ring by spring situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna leave it like this. Is it cooler on a t-shirt? Like I think it's cooler on a t-shirt. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you what I tell Silas. It might be cooler on a t-shirt than rather on permanently
Yeah,
on your
yeah.
body. I'm gonna have to deal with the decibels when I'm editing this because that was loud. But permanently on your body.
All right.
So just think about that.
Yeah.
Is it better as just a t-shirt? Or are you for sure really want to put that on your body forever?
Yeah.
Just think about it that way. I want to get into the ring by spring situation.
Yeah.
So, this is another question that I've been asking,
Mm-hmm.
even specifically at the church with like some of the people that I work with, because most of them are married. But before we dive in, let me first explain if you guys don't know what ring by spring is.
Yeah, I didn't know until earlier.
I was like, Crystal, we should definitely talk about this. And she's like, what is that? Okay, so again, the ring by spring situation is
Mm-hmm.
like usually happens with kids who go to a Christian college. Um, and it's this stigma
Mm-hmm.
that t- to get proposed to by your boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
by the spring. So the end of like the whole like school year.
Okay.
And usually like the stigma happens specifically sometimes with freshmen
Mm-hmm.
just entering college or even just, throughout the years, like
Right.
whatever it may be. But it's this whole thing of these kids like who are just getting into a college relationship, getting married soon after.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've asked a lot of people at the church how soon is too soon and
Okay.
how long is too long. Now, when I say how long is too long, is I'm talking about being engaged.
Okay.
How long is too long to be engaged before getting married? And when I say how soon is too soon,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about what is too soon to even get engaged and what is too soon to be married right after getting engaged.
Got you. Ooh, okay. Well, that's tricky. I mean, for everybody, it's different. It's all depending on your
Yes.
relationships. Some people like meet and get married the day after, or like we have a family friend, or family friends. that
Mm,
they were together for 28 days
I
and they got
know.
married, and they've been together for 9 years. I think they're
Yeah,
celebrating 9 years of marriage.
I
Oh, I
know.
think this month. Happy early anniversary. But yeah, like for them, it, they knew right away.
Yeah.
They knew what they wanted. They agreed on a lot of the same things. They're like, why wait? And like for your dad and I, we were, let me see.
But you guys were almost together a full year,
Yes, we were together for, it was like
shy
shy
of a
of a
year.
year. It would have been a lot closer if he did it the way he was actually planning
Oh.
to like a full year. But there was a death in the family where he was on a remote assignment. He came home and he was like, okay, well, while I'm here, I might as well just do it. And I'm glad he did it the way he did it, because if not, it would have been through video. It was just like his idea seemed cool, but I'm like,
In
in
person is
person,
so much
yes,
different.
yes.
Yes.
And for me, did I think it was too soon? I mean, no, I was happy when he proposed, because I knew it's one of those things, like when
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's your person, that's who you want to be with. And for me though, since he still had about like let me see, about 6, 7 more months left on his assignment,
yeah.
I thought it would have been like after he came back home.
Got you.
So I was really surprised when it happened. But you know what's crazy? Is
What?
like thinking about it, like knowing that he asked for my hand from like my dad, my mom, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew specifically he asked for my dad's hand.
He asked for your dad's hand?
My dad's my hand from my dad. Um it was around my sister's birthday. She's in March. And I was there for her like sweet 16. And there was a time where he wanted to talk to my dad. I didn't think anything of it. Like I thought they were
Uh-huh.
just conversating,
Right,
buddies,
right,
buddies,
right.
whatever. I don't know. But when he told me that he asked, that's the time that he asked for my dad's thing, I was like,
Wow.
dang. So you knew early. You knew early.
Dang, at least we know that he can keep a secret.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
uh,
no, for that, yeah. I mean, it was a good secret to hold on to. Even my
right, right,
mom,
right.
shucks, like, but because I had no idea. I had
Mm,
no idea. But for me, like, it's all your personal preference. If you
yeah,
know, you know. The length, I think if you're able to, like, financially able to
yeah,
get married, I would say a year engagement is good. I think that's what we had, a little over a year.
yeah.
And it was perfect. For me, I was able to plan everything. I had the help that I needed,
Hmm.
and we got married. Everything was fun. It was a fun day.
Yeah,
Um, but but yeah, for me, I think a year is a good engagement time frame.
yeah. No. Before we get into my thoughts about it, um, I remember like clearly. I obviously we talk about it a lot, like obviously between us, but
Yeah.
I remember. I remember when I just knew that
Mhm.
dad was going to propose to you. I think it was that same weekend when he asked me um, if it was okay, and I just remember were we in Cocoa Beach? I think we were visiting you,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and we were literally outside this like surf shop, and we're in the car, and
Oh my. Okay, I know exactly when. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're in the car, and he's like, "Hey, I have to ask you a question," and I was like, "Okay, are you gonna ask Crystal to marry you?" And he's like, "How did you know?" And I was like, guys, I
You had a
didn't.
feeling.
I had the feeling too. I just knew it. And I was just so happy for dad. And it was a beautiful moment, of course,
No.
you know. But it was. I think about that. And I think it's so funny that 10 years later, and well, more than that now, 11 years, because
Yeah.
obviously it was a whole year before you guys got married.
Right.
But to think about that and like dad obviously asking me, and we were really, really happy, or I
Mhm.
was really happy for you to come join our little family, and all of that. But I remember that, and I always remember that. I mean, I should.
Yeah.
I was
Oh my
10,
gosh. I
but
think we were, because it was. it was after, or it was during one of my reserve weekends,
Mhm.
and I think we got out early that day. I think it was like a family thing, and we were gonna go to the beach. I remember
Mhm.
we stopped at like that surf shop or
Uh-huh.
whatever it was, and I went inside. I don't know. We were looking for towels. I don't forget what we were looking for. Maybe sandals. I don't know. But yeah, no, I remember that. That's
Oh
so
my
funny. Oh
gosh.
my gosh.
I honestly didn't even realize that you were with us. I
Or maybe if it's the time that I'm thinking, or if it's the moment that I'm thinking about,
Like, this is
like,
11 years ago,
I
so
mean, well, yeah, no, or it could have been when I was actually working.
I I
Who knows?
honestly,
But I remember that specific weekend, and there was a time that we did
yeah,
go into a surf shop.
I was gonna say I knew we were visiting you, and
That's
hanging
funny.
out, but yeah, no, it was just like I just think about that because I remember like he didn't even ask the actual question.
Right.
I asked it for him, and I was like, yeah, of course, yay, I love her. But
That's
no, that's so funny.
funny.
But no, the reason why I asked this question, guys, I'm still waiting. Silas is taking a sweet time. My
Come
dad's
on,
taking
man.
their sweet time. All of that. No, but I love him dearly. I love them both dearly. Um, and I really, it's come to the point where I literally told him he could ask me, and I probably would think he's faking,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
don't believe him.
I could see that.
And because I always see these videos of these girls getting proposed to, and they're like what they think is gonna happen, and they're
Mhm,
crying, and
mhm.
then like what actually happens, and it's like, are you being for real right now? I feel like that's how it's gonna be for me. I'm gonna be like, are you serious? Like, is this ring real?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it actually happening? Anyways, guys, when it happens, we'll record it, and you guys will know the reaction that I have.
Right.
But I'm still waiting, unfortunately. But the reason why I ask is because of the whole stigma around ring by spring.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm like, these couples getting engaged like shortly into their
Yeah.
relationships, sometimes it makes me question. It makes me question, are they really doing it for the right reasons?
Yeah.
Or is it about physical intimacy?
Mhm.
And so I'm not saying that that is the only reason,
Right.
but I'm saying that it just makes me think because, of course, purity is a big thing,
Yeah.
and of course you want to guard yourself. Your body's a temple, and God made sex
Mhm.
to, not be, what's the word, I'm tainted is what I'm looking for. Obviously God made sex to be pure, and
Yeah.
it's supposed to be between a man and a woman within a marriage.
Yeah.
Let me obviously be specific, within a marriage.
Mhm.
That's how it's supposed to be, and it's a beautiful thing, and all of this stuff. And so sometimes when I see these couples who are getting married, or getting engaged, I should say, first
Yeah.
getting engaged shortly after, being in a relationship for like 4 to 6 months, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
are you do it's and I'm more talking about these young couples,
Right, right.
and like, are you really doing it for the right reasons, or are you just doing it so that you can be physically intimate and
Yeah.
it's okay in the eyes of God? And the thing is obviously once you're married, you're married.
Yeah.
But also, once you're married, and it's not like you could just break things off with this person,
Mhm, mhm.
And that's where I'm kind of like, "Ugh," like, why is there such a
Yeah.
high stigma around these Christian couples at these universities getting married
Yeah.
or engaged so soon?
Well, that's like even in the military.
Mm,
Like when you go into basic training and you do your tech school, there's a lot of young military personnel, airmen,
yeah.
soldiers, that they will get married shortly after basic training and tech school. That way they don't have to live in the dorms.
Mm,
They get money for their it's called BAH, so basing
yeah.
housing allowance or something like that. And so like the military could basically pay for their housing.
Hmm.
But is it for the right reasons? Are you
Right.
like just meeting somebody and then just getting married just for that, so you don't have to be in the dorms?
Yeah.
I did not want to do that, obviously. Um, but again, only you know.
That's why I feel the same way about like Christian marriages. Like,
Mhm.
not all Christian marriages, but Christians, like young Christians,
Right.
getting married, like very shortly after. I think it's okay to like know, okay, this is the person that I want to be with. Like
Yeah.
again with Silas, I knew within the first year for sure that I
Mhm.
wanted to be with this person.
Right.
And now we're almost going on 2 years. The
Mhm.
beginning of next year we'll hit 2 years. And, now I'm like, okay,
You ready?
where's it at? But what I mean is I think if I was in that position after 6 months and Silas like proposed, I feel like I would freak out slightly
Mhm.
because I guess I guess coming from somebody that was going through a relationship where it felt very fast, very quick,
Yeah.
like the thought of at 6 months, to get proposed to, but like you said, every person's different. I just think
Yeah.
when it comes to like young couples, like after such a short period of time to like get
Yeah.
engaged and
Like,
then
what are you truly trying to get at?
literally, that's when I'm like thinking, are you truly doing it for the right
Yeah.
reasons, or is it because you want the rewards
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
getting married,
Yeah.
to do that and not feel punished
Yeah.
by God. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal thought
No,
process.
no, I feel you on that. Obviously you always want to make sure that you're doing it for the right
Yeah.
reasons and that you're truly like in love and ready for that commitment.
I think too, like there's just like I know people are like, oh, the honeymoon phase is supposed to be forever. I get that.
Uh-huh.
But I don't, again, personal opinions, I do not trust couples who've never had an argument,
Oh,
never
yeah.
like nothing
Mhm.
that's like
Mhm.
tested the relationship.
Yeah.
I think as much as it's groveling and as much as it sucks to like go through a trial in your relationship,
Right.
it's definitely necessary before you marry somebody.
Well, of course, you wanna figure out like, okay, how is their temper? Know we were talking a little bit the other day, but I was watching a video on somewhere, Facebook, I think,
Hmm.
and this guy was saying to basically like to test your relationship, and it was like I think it was actually Charlie Kirk, but
Oh dang. Oh, the
um,
road
the road trip,
trip.
going on a road trip,
Yes.
with your partner
Mm,
and that will test your relationship. But
yes.
yeah, because you definitely don't want to get with somebody that's like, okay, they have this mask on.
Yeah.
Then the first fight that you guys get into, they explode, they whatever, and then you're just there. You're stuck, married,
Mm,
you know?
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I don't know. This is just my opinion.
Yeah,
The whole ring by spring situation is insane.
yeah,
Like that stigma is like crazy. Like I know Paul says it himself, like, if you can't wait, get married. But
right.
dang, guys, like, really think about it. Because, like, marriage is such a serious thing, you
It
know?
sure is, yeah.
And that, like, goes, like I said, what one is soon too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, like, not even with engagements, but, like, when people get engaged and then, like, 1 or 2 months
Mm-hmm.
later, they're, like, married. And I had this conversation with, my mentor because she's
Yeah,
obviously around my age. She's slightly younger than you are. And
yeah.
she's like, I'm not gonna lie. If somebody got married, like right after they got engaged, the first thing that I'm thinking is, are they pregnant?
Oh, yeah.
And that can't, that like, or not can't, but sometimes that's not even the case. Like they just want to get married. And trust me, like, when Silas and I get engaged, speaking that into existence, I already said this that I will instantly start like the wedding planning is gonna
Oh,
start
yeah,
rolling the ball and all of that stuff. But I would think the same thing of like, dang, like it's just like bam, bam, bam. And there's nothing wrong with it. I guess
yeah,
like when you know, and like you said, every person is different. But this is like I just kind of think about these things because
yeah.
I'm like, when is soon too soon?
No, I know. It's like it makes me think of those 90-day fiancés.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
gosh. But I can't. No, I don't believe in that.
Or what is that one Netflix one? like
Not Love Is Blind?
Love Is
Oh,
Blind.
okay, uh-huh.
Yes, Love Is Blind. Like stuff like that. Like it's I'm sorry. I must have really have bad trust issues because I
Yeah.
just can't trust. No, no, no. I can fall in love very easily. I can. But I would just have such bad trust issues. For me, it's like how long is too long when it comes to even an engagement? Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know you've said it too. Like, um, sometimes it just boils down to finances, like what you can afford if you
Right.
really want a big wedding. But I think me personally, if let's say Silas and I are planning on having our wedding 5 years from now,
Mhm.
during those 5 years, I would have already technically through the courts gotten married.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also about like doing it right, not living,
Mm-hmm.
in sin and whatnot, which I can see going back to those ring and spring thing, like
Yeah.
not wanting to live in sin, but also like you know what you're doing,
Yeah, exactly.
if you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right, right.
But um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, if I was in that type of situation
Mm-hmm.
where like we weren't financially set,
Mm-hmm.
it would be like, okay, yeah, let's go to the courts, let's make it legal, let's
Yes.
legally bind this, and then we'll save up and go from there,
Right.
you know.
Because, like, there's just, I'm going to say it again. Everybody has their preferences. People just know. And, like, I completely understand that. I just think there's some controversy behind ring by spring or even just having a really long
Yeah.
engagement. Like, I I don't know. For me, I really need the commitment. So like
Mhm.
I understand wanting that ring by spring. Trust me, I get it. I want it now.
Yeah.
But I understand wanting the commitment, but I also am like, I really need to know, is this a person that I can spend the rest of my life with?
Of
Because
course.
I don't want to spend the rest of you'll always learn your partner, right?
Yeah.
Over the years you'll
Shucks, I'm
always
still learning my
right.
partner.
But I don't want to spend like that first year of marriage like truly like who are you? What do you even
Oh yeah,
like?
no, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Right. Like I feel like I said, Silas and I are about to become 2 years. Silas just kind of pushing it out there. About to be 2 years, but we've been together for 2 years, and I personally think 2 years, 1 to 2 years, is like a good time.
Yeah.
Statistically, people generally know within the first 6 months, is this the kind of person that I
Mhm.
see
Mhm.
myself being with long term?
Right.
And I would agree with that. I Within the first 6 months, I really thought, okay, this is the person that I want to be with long term.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, again, whenever he decides to do it, I know that one, it's a good time because
Yeah.
he asked dad and dad gave him his blessing, but also like we've gone through things for me to be like, is this something, like you said, is it something you can deal with for 5 minutes, five
Yeah.
months, five
Yeah.
years, so on and so forth. And if I can say yes to those things, then I know, okay, well, this is the person that I want to be with.
Mhm.
And also the fact, like, I went through a situation where I saw, like, when I went through something hard, what that person did, and that person
Oh my
left.
gosh, yeah.
But to like go through hard things and to see that, Silas does stick by me and like pushes me and like really
Yeah, and we've
wants
seen
me
it
to,
too.
right,
Come on, man. No.
wants me to be at my best. It's like I know this is the person that I want to be with,
Yeah.
but like we've gone through the trials and tribulations, and so I know, okay, well, when we go through another trial, because it'll happen,
Mhm.
we're not just like
Yeah,
life
we're not
doesn't
perfect. Yeah.
right, something will happen. Well, not that I wish that, but I'm just saying, it's inevitable,
Yeah.
as life goes on. But I know, okay, well, I know how we were in this season. I can
Mhm.
trust that in a
Mhm.
future season that he'll be there for me.
Right, right.
But yeah, no. I think a year, 2 years is a perfect time, to either
Yeah.
pop the question. I think my ideal 6 months to a year, perfect time to get married right after you get
Engaged, yeah.
engaged. Especially if you're trying to have a wedding. Now, unless it's like, okay, well, I want to get married at this time and the venue only has this date and it's like
Oh,
two,
yeah.
3 years later, then that's different. Like, but I would push to at least get married by the courts if you have to wait some time before getting
Yeah.
married. Again, you want to do things right.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can agree with that. And and yeah, I mean, again, all boils down to when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously get that blessing, which I was very like
Yes.
happy that your dad got the bless. He got the blessing from you, my mom, my dad, his mom, his dad, you know,
Yep.
and like that is like okay, I can appreciate that,
Yeah.
you know, because that's something I always wanted. And then another thing that I always requested was like getting married in the church,
In the
which we
church
did,
area.
which that was beautiful. um but yeah, no, like you said, like 1 to 2 years being with
Yeah.
somebody,
Mhm.
learning them, then they pop the question,
Mhm.
and then like you said, yeah, maybe a year, 6 months to a year. I think that's good to be able to plan a wedding. Again, be financially stable. You don't want to go
Yeah.
into debt planning a wedding. Please
Yes.
don't. You can get it done so cheap. Um, but yeah, like for us, we got married on our like 2 year anniversary, like
I
exactly,
know.
which
So
I
cute.
mean, yeah, thanks.
Adorable.
No, I mean, it was more easy for your dad so you could just remember one date. But yeah, I mean, and look, we're here now. Yes, we've had our ups and downs and our fights and whatever. But we push through and we communicate.
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah, I think that's good though.
All right.
Like I said, or like you said, excuse me, 2 years. Like you don't want to be 5 years engaged. Like that movie, what is it? The 5 year engagement. I still don't really know how that one ends, but I don't think they end up together.
Yeah. Like there's just so many like movies that show what a long engagement can do,
Yeah,
and or like how couples like become roommates and like,
yeah, that too.
that they're not even like dating each other or like actively like pursuing each other
Mhm,
and
mhm.
stuff like that. And I guess this is why I have some personal controversial like thoughts about ring by
Yeah.
spring, because I'm like, again, once the honeymoon phase is over, it's over, like,
Mhm.
yes, you can have the honeymoon phase forever, but like you have to put in that effort, that initial honeymoon phase.
Always, always,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because like that initial, when you're with somebody, that's just natural. You don't
Mhm.
have to put in as much effort, to feel that way,
Yeah.
because both parties are putting in a lot of effort because they want to make it work.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
then everybody gets comfortable. Everybody gets comfortable
Yeah.
in their relationship. So now you actually have to put in the effort to have that honeymoon phase for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so I will say, I'm very happy that even though as much as I hated it, dad kind of popped the love bubble for me and Silas after our first year together and was like, okay, hey, like, this isn't, you have to, I don't want to say this isn't going to last forever, but like, uh, you have to really start thinking about like the future. You have to really
Right.
start thinking about, okay, if you and Silas are to be married, and you don't want to work, because you're pregnant, like, can
Yeah.
Silas sustain that? Are you both independent enough that if Silas loses his job, like, can you take care of,
Right.
the family needs? Because anything could happen.
Mhm.
Not saying that God isn't a miracle worker and won't make things work out. Like, not saying that
Yeah.
at all, but there's nothing wrong with preparing, for what could happen.
Mhm.
With not living in fear of it happening. But like,
Right, right, right.
there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I think you guys are ready because, one, we know that if something happens with Silas, we can fall back on Jasmine, right?
Mhm.
If something happens with Jasmine, y'all can fall back on Silas. And that's what a whole partnership is
Of
about. That's,
course.
that's what a marriage is about, especially because you guys are one person. And if one person's failing, then like you both are failing. If
Mhm.
one person is succeeding, you're both succeeding.
Yeah.
um so that's why I have some controversy about like the fact of like, I just personally don't trust couples that have never gone through anything, you know.
Or that they say that they've never gone through anything,
Yeah,
you know.
and you ain't gonna spill your business out there or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But like the couples that are genuinely like, yeah, yeah, we don't fight. Like, I don't think we've ever had an argument, and I'm like, okay. Yeah.
I mean, well, I mean, it's semi possible. I mean, your dad and I in the beginning, like, we had our disagreements, but we would communicate. Like, major fights, I don't think we've ever really, like,
Well,
had any, but you know, I mean, there's bickerments
Yeah, but I
here,
mean, like
but
that still counts. Like, I'm not saying people should have huge art. That is not what I'm saying.
yeah,
I'm not saying that defines a good or a bad relationship. All I'm saying is like
yeah.
people who perceive
Mhm.
themselves as being this perfect couple, have never gone through any
Oh gosh,
issues,
yeah.
all this. I don't trust couples like that. Me personally. Sorry if you're one of those couples, but I guess because I'm like, that's not really like realistic. I mean, good for you, but like it's gonna be a harsh reality when something does happen.
Right.
And that's why me, as again, I said it, as much as it sucks to go through something while you're dating,
Mhm.
that whole dating period is crucial and it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
So again, you could practice marriage while dating, right?
Yeah.
Not the intimacy parts. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about practicing, like, to be a wife, like the qualities that or the characters that
Yeah.
are in a wife or the characters that are in a husband, so that when you guys are married, you guys have that foundation
Oh yeah.
already.
Yeah. I mean, your dad and
That's
I, we were
easy.
talking about that semi like the other day.
Mm,
It was like you gotta, if you want that title,
mm-hmm.
you got to like
Like prepare for it,
prepare for it, yeah. And
practice.
yeah, do those small little things, whether it's, I don't know, ironing the other person's
Oh,
shirt
snap.
or um what's another one? What's a like man, dude, I don't know, washing her vehicle. I don't know. Putting
Yeah.
her putting gas in her
Learning
tank.
learning
I
the
don't
difference
know.
between bare minimum and princess treatment.
Oh my gosh, I seen that
That's
on
what I
TikTok.
that's what I say. I think when guys truly know the difference between bare minimum and princess treatment, everybody has their different definitions,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of things that some guys find as princess treatment, and I'm like, I think that's the bare minimum,
Mhm.
But that again, if you guys watched our marriage episode, that also kind of goes back to expectations, what you expect from,
Right, right.
you
And that's
know.
always good to set your expectations,
Mhm.
especially at the very beginning. Hey, when we're married, this is what I would like to expect. I want to hear from your side.
Mhm.
And are you going to be able to live with that? Are we going to be
Exactly.
able to live with that and compromise? And okay, let's go. Let's go forward.
Right.
If not, let's part ways now. You know, but
And
yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. That's when I can trust a couple to get married. Okay?
Oh, we were looking at the marriage book, our marriage little album book.
Oh,
That
yes. From the that summer you guys got married.
yes,
Yes.
and I one of our marriage photos. If you look at my hands really closely, you'll see
Okay.
a cut on one of my knuckles,
Okay.
and I remember this specifically. We had bought a house, and your aunt had come over. It was like right before the wedding, and she was there for it was summertime, so she was there a lot earlier than everybody else was
Okay.
supposed to be. And if you ask her, like she'll tell you, we were doing like some yard work and putting stones down, making the front of our yard look pretty.
Mhm.
And I look at that picture and I can remember like that specific time frame. And one of the things that she told us, and maybe she even said it at the wedding,
Uh-huh.
was that she knew we'd be good together because of how we worked together
Mm.
in the yard. Like, okay, you'd be like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" Or like,
Yeah.
um, we didn't just like get super mad at each other. I mean, there's times where if I need something done my way and he's not doing it, or vice versa, mainly vice versa. No, I'm just kidding. Where it's like, hey, and needless to say, you should have known that this is what I was thinking, but no, like we were able to help each other by like no almost knowing what we were thinking, like I
Yeah.
knew what his next step was gonna be. And like I said, that's one of the things is just like know each other. And
Yeah.
I find it funny, and it reminded me about that,
No,
like
no, no, but like that's true. You guys spent enough time to like really getting to know each other to know that person's next step.
yeah.
That's like even too, Silas knows that when it comes to me cooking or baking,
Oh yeah.
he cannot help me. I can't. Like I get. flustered, I get overwhelmed, I just get very anxious, and I'm just like, just you're not doing it my way. Just please get out of the crib.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
please get out right now.
I need my
I
space.
need my space. All with love. And the thing is I'll be like, why don't we ever do anything together? And he's like, because when we do, you get
Overstimulated.
overstimulated, and I can't be in the room. And I'm like, you just know me so well. Thank you so much for knowing me. Oh my gosh.
But he's funny too. That he'll just come and just like bother you really quickly, and
Oh
he's like,
my
"Okay,
god.
I'm gonna go."
Yes, literally. No, but always having that person that genuinely like knows your next step, knows like to like when you're getting anxious, when you're getting overwhelmed, like
Right.
that they know how to take that load off of
Mm-hmm.
you. Like again, how I told you, like this past week, Silas has been working a lot, like
Yeah.
a lot, and sometimes it's just the season, um, and obviously we're going, down to see some family tomorrow, and because I told him like, hey, like, as much as I hate having to drive a long way,
Yeah.
that because I know how hard his week has been,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure the last thing that he wants to do after a hard long week is to drive a few hours, that I
Mm-hmm.
said that I would do it. And I'm not saying it because I'm a perfect girlfriend or like
Right.
anything like that, but it's because it's like, okay, like, I don't want you to feel more stressed out, And like even with my cousin, yes, I'm her maid of honor,
Mm-hmm.
but I see how stressed she's been,
Yeah.
and I took it upon myself to be like, hey, I'm going to go down. I'm going to help you out, even though there's not much that
Yeah.
is left to do. But even just to simply like be your emotional support. And I think that too is like another like criteria as to like, okay, this is the person I want to be with, because
Yeah.
they know when to step in, even without me asking them to
That
step
right
in.
there. Yeah.
And again, I think it's just because I have really bad trust issues, and it's not necessarily a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
but because I have those kinds of trust issues, it's like I need things to be built up a certain way,
Yeah.
and that's why like I would freak out of like, is this too soon if Silas
Mm-hmm.
like after
Mm-hmm.
6 months was like, hey, and then I'd be like, I've never been with somebody a whole year, like, I
Yeah.
need time, kind of situation. So that's just my controversy behind Ring by Spring. But there is one more thing that I want to talk about.
Yep.
Uh, you know, and we're in the month of October. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about Halloween.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, growing up, we celebrated it. I would dress up and
Mm-hmm.
I would, wear the costumes. And, even as I got older, guys, I was trick or treating like even through high school.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was that person that was pushing it. Um, but I love to dress up. Our my 20th and dad's 40th birthday was literally like themed for people to dress up because it was
Yeah.
a decades party, um, and all of that, and it was fun. I love to dress up. But let's talk about Halloween. Should Christians really be celebrating Halloween?
That's another one that has its controversies. For me personally, just what Halloween has become,
Mhm.
I don't have enough research or education on like the true like backgrounds of Halloween, or
Right,
whether it was a pagan holiday or it was something that was just turned evil.
right, right.
Um, but what it's been made, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Growing up, I could count on half of a hand the times that
Half
I,
of a
yeah,
hand.
um, the times that I dressed up and went trick or treating. I think all of that stopped before I was even out of elementary school, and like we didn't celebrate it.
Mhm.
Obviously, growing up, pastors,
Right.
um, it was something like we weren't even allowed to watch
Harry Potter,
Harry
right?
Potter.
That's
Yeah,
what I
because
thought.
of the witches and wizards and all the magic and whatnot that it entails. Obviously it says in the Bible we're not supposed to surround ourselves or be with like psychics and
Right.
magicians and whatnot. But for me, like one thing that I enjoyed that my mom would do is that every year during Halloween, we'd go to like the Christian bookstore. She'd get pencils, stickers, and make like little baggies. And it would like the pencil would say, or it would be a double sided eraser pencil. And
Okay.
I remember like specifically this one saying like the life without Jesus is like this pencil, pointless.
Ah.
And I remember just sitting down, making those bags with her, and I wouldn't personally go out to get candy, but I would help her give out those bags. And it was
Right.
a way to just spread the gospel.
Right.
And whether the people they use the pencil or just threw it away, I mean, it was a little thing like, okay, hey, Jesus loves you. I know, like, well, the past, so like all of your brother's life, basically, we have no, we've allowed him to do the trick or treating. You know, I know you would
Yeah.
take him to go when we were living overseas.
Yeah.
You would take him, or your dad would take him. Shucks, the first year there, they did the trunk or treat, or we got rained out,
Yes,
so we
we
had
saw
to
that
do.
picture.
Oh
Oh
my!
my
I had totally forgotten
gosh.
about that. Like, we've
Yes.
dressed up before, but to like
Yeah.
celebrate it. I don't know. For me, I'm trying to get away from it just because of what it's been made. Also, there's some crazy people out there.
That's
And I was
true.
reading an article earlier that like they found or people are making gumballs, but it's not gum, it's fentanyl. And yeah, people like there's been stories that people put
Like
like
razor.
razor blades in candy, they put drugs in candy. It's like you can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
You can't trust anything. I know my mom, she even to this day, and I'm sure she'll say it again this year, be like, make sure before the baby touches any of those candies, make sure you inspect all of them. And I mean, it's good advice. Yes, please
Yeah.
inspect your candy before if you are going out and trick or treating. Um, but but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to explain to your brother, like he
Yeah.
wants to do it because he wants all that free candy. A lot of kids, I'm sure that's why they want to do it.
Yeah.
But for me, I kind of want to get away from it, and I'm not judging anybody that celebrates, but I've
Yeah,
seen
no.
I think it was last year, I saw this video of this one girl that she said that they don't celebrate Halloween. What they do is they've started like a tradition with their family, whether it's like watching movie or doing some fun activity or
As a
craft as
family,
a
yeah.
family, and they'll just make sure their lights are off because I know one of those things is like if your porch light is on, that means you're home
With
and
the
you're
trick or
with the trick or
treater.
treater, yeah, or you're like
Have
giving
the
passing out
candy. Yeah,
candy.
yeah.
And then like they would turn off their lights outside, but do an activity that's
Family
with
friendly.
family friendly at home. And I mean, I've tried to explain that to your brother. He's
Yeah.
still not quite getting it, but I do want to like kind of, get away from it. And I mean, if we do take him out, I mean, so be it, but I just got to make sure that,
Yeah.
we're safe.
Yeah, there's just so much like on a lot of things I guess about what we celebrate.
Right.
For all of these things,
Mhm.
it's kind of, I don't want to be like that it's between you and God, but it's kind of like to pray about it. Like
Yeah.
if you feel convicted in a way like to
Mhm.
not take your kids trick or treating or to not celebrate it or whatever, like I genuinely feel like that's between you and God. I
Yeah.
definitely like what you and Tita did when you were growing up and
Mhm.
doing, the stickers or
Yeah.
the pencils and stuff like that. Um, I know so many like influencers
Mhm.
that have said that that's what they're doing,
Yeah.
and and again, I don't judge parents who want to take their kids out trick or treating. I don't judge families that like want to, like my mom, she decorates for
Yeah.
Halloween, and like my mom is a big decor
Holiday
like
decorator.
she has a Christmas tree up that's like all year round, and she decorates it for like for the springtime, Easter,
Yeah,
4th of
yeah.
July, like that Christmas tree like see
Every
is
single holiday.
yeah, honestly, I think it's easier for her to keep it out than to put it away.
Yeah.
But like I have no like judgment, I think the little Halloween outfits are cute or the decorations are cute.
Yeah.
Um now I don't know if like when my kid, like when I have kids, is that something that I'm gonna do?
Mhm.
Like I think more, like you said, the reason behind it, not so much, and for me, it's not really a biblical reason,
Mhm.
but more because, like you said, like people are just hateful. People like
Yeah.
just aren't good people, or like, you know, also I don't know like as much as Christians pray over other people, or
Mhm.
maybe Christian families who are handing out candy will pray over the candy and
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know what people who are like
I've
in
heard that
need.
there's like the people that practice,
All that
what is it?
witchcraft
The witchcraft,
stuff,
thank
yeah.
you. They put curses,
That's what I'm saying. And
but
not that I accept that,
no,
but
I always pray like over shucks. Even when you go to the grocery store,
yes,
there's people, and I mean, I've done it. I don't do it all the time, but
yeah,
I pray over and rebuke anything that might be attached to it because you don't know the intentions of
yeah.
anybody.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not so much, oh, because the Bible says, X, Y, and Z. Obviously, the Bible says, about witchcraft and like
Yeah,
psychics and stuff like that. Because I know how hateful and how much evil is in this world,
yeah,
I just, I'd rather shield my children from it because of
yeah,
other people's intentions. um, and how, you know what? Can I just say this? I don't mind my kids dressing up or anything like that,
yeah.
but if I want my kids to have trick or treating and doing that, I'll do it like Easter, and
Hide the candy.
hide the candy around the house or the front yard so
Yeah,
they can engage in something like that. Or again, if I don't teach them about it, then I won't have to worry about any, or
yeah.
like have that like in my house or whatever. But the only reason why I wouldn't want to keep that for my kids is because I know I've had so many memories of like
Mhm.
dressing up and like,
Yeah,
being whatever I wanted to be, and like we said, that Halloween party that we had. And
yeah,
I don't think it makes you any less of a Christian
yeah,
if you allow your kids to go trick or treating,
yeah,
or to dress up as their favorite superhero or it's their favorite princess. Like,
yeah.
I don't think that makes you a bad parent. I don't think that makes you a bad Christian. I think it really ultimately, for all these things, like even with tattoos, it's praying like, hey Lord, like, convict me if
Mhm.
this is something that I should not be doing,
Yeah.
with my family. um and I truly believe that I know the Lord will do that, and the Lord will say, hey,
Of course.
you know or he will simply ask you like, what is your why do you
Yeah, that right
even
there.
want to take your kids trick-or-treating? Why don't you use this time as a family and
Mhm,
watch a
mhm.
movie, or color, or build a Lego
Yeah,
together?
yeah.
Who knows? Because like the thing is there are so many other fall activities. Like,
Mhm.
people go to the pumpkin patches,
Yeah.
you know people go to the different farms, that like the apple farms, or
Right.
wherever you live. Like, there are just so many other fall activities that isn't around
Yeah.
Halloween, and just all of that, so like
Yeah.
I understand the controversy of like why, why a lot, because you're not the only one that grew up not able to watch Harry Potter.
Right.
I grew up and it was okay, but
Mhm.
because my dad implemented into me like it's fake, it's
Uh-huh.
not real. But then, I grow up and the Bible says that witchcraft is, very much real.
Mhm.
And again, he's not a bad parent. I'm not gonna lie. I love Harry Potter movies. I think
Mhm.
they're great, and I love the fantasy behind it. But I think too, there's a level of conviction if you know what is right and what you know is wrong,
Mhm.
and the Lord will just genuinely reveal that to you,
Right.
what is right and what is wrong. But you have to seek it out and don't be so stubborn. And it's not even just with Harry Potter. It's other movies,
Mhm.
that I watch, or other shows that I'll watch.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm gonna tell you this right now. Obviously, for Halloween, people know scary movies is like the hype of like the time of the year to watch scary
Mhm.
movies. When I was in high school, And literally anytime you can ask any friend, anytime they're like, "Oh, let's watch a scary movie." I am like 10 toes down, please do not like please let's watch anything else.
Yeah.
I will watch Dora the Explorer before watching a scary movie. And I'm not saying that there are levels, but watching like a murderer scary movie is one thing,
Mhm.
but watching like the paranormals or like the
Yeah.
like stuff like that, like I literally start like God is my witness. Like even right now I think about it, I start praying. I
Mhm.
start praying like instantly. I'm like, Lord, cover my eyes, cover my ears. Lord, I know this stuff exists. Lord, guard my
Yeah.
heart. Like, there's a hedge of protection around me and my family. No, like, all demons must leave in the name of Jesus. And like, I
Mhm.
start
Mhm.
speaking the blood of Jesus. I start like,
Yeah.
praying, like, praying. And there was one time, um, I laugh about it, but like, there was one time can't tell you what scary movie it was exactly, but again, it was like one of those like demonic
Mhm.
ones, and it was me, Paola, and her friend Manuel,
Mhm.
and we're watching it. And how her living room was is that she had a hallway because it was like her living room, and then like it went into like her kitchen, but like
Uh-huh.
on that wall of like her kitchen and her living room was a hallway,
Okay.
and at the end of her hallway she had a mirror.
Oh.
And I said, Paola, I'm not sitting here. I said, you're the one who wants to watch the movie.
Yeah.
You could sit here in like, because again, it's a dark
That's funny,
hallway
yeah.
and just like all the stuff, right? And she's like, oh, you're being this big baby and like all this stuff. And I was like, okay, sure, we'll see.
Mhm.
We switch seats and it starts to get scary and she starts like scooting into me. I was like, no, I thought I was being a baby. And she's like, can you please start praying? And I was like, I've already been praying this
Right.
whole time. I can't watch this. Like, it was crazy. Like,
That's funny.
I have one more about scary movies. Silas and I went to see the movie Smile 2.
Okay, uh-huh.
Okay, I remember this specifically because the difference between the first one and the second one was like astronomical because
Mhm.
like the hidden messages behind Smile is about like mental health and
Okay.
like stuff like that. Like um the the imagery basically was like, a lot of people put on a smile
Yeah.
but are dealing with a lot, you know, on the inside.
Mhm.
And it was just basically saying how like, mental illness takes over and like it was still a scary movie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But then we go to see the second one. And anytime I see a scary movie, I just start praying over myself.
Mhm.
I start praying and I'm just like, Lord, like, I truly believe that these things are real.
Mhm.
I know that these things exist.
Yeah.
And Lord, I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Lord, like, guard me. Again, guard my eyes, guard my ears. I don't want any like open door to
Mhm.
these things. And I had to use the restroom, and even though the movie was scary, nothing demonic happened.
Yeah.
And Silas literally told me that right when I left, that's when like this weird demonic thing started
Mhm.
happening. And right when I came back, it was over.
God's protection.
And literally, like the Lord knows, like I start, like, there are just so many instances where
Mhm.
I've prayed and the Lord will instantly take me out of those
Yeah.
situations. Not to throw Paola under the bus again, but I've said the story before of me, her, and Bianca went to this festival, and literally we walk into this festival, or before we walk into this festival, and this was before the three of us truly were like living for the
Mhm,
Lord.
mhm.
Um, I had like this wave of anxiety, and so I start
Mhm.
praying, and I'm like, Lord, like if we're not supposed to be in this place, please take us out. Unfortunately, the way the Lord took us out of that situation, Paula hates me for it because I'll explain. We were at this festival. I pray. We enter the festival, and not even 10 minutes in,
Mhm.
Paula gets a panic attack.
Mhm.
So much so where she like I had to physically tell her to breathe in and out. Like it was really,
Yeah,
really bad.
yeah.
Bianca had to go get the paramedics, and the paramedics told us they were like, what like has she taken anything? And we're like,
Mhm.
no, she hasn't taken anything, but they didn't understand what was going on because her heart rate was so elevated.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, she hasn't. Like, we don't know what's going on, and just all this stuff. And they're like, well, we're gonna have to take her to the ER
Mhm.
to flush out her system.
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't allow us to go with her because obviously we're not her family.
Mhm.
So we instantly had to leave. We ordered an Uber to go to the hospital that she was at,
Okay.
and we get there and thank the Lord that they did everything that they needed to
Yeah.
do. Still don't understand why all that happened. And once everything calmed down, I was like, Paola, I have to tell you something. And she's like, what? I was like, so I was praying and I asked the Lord that if we weren't
Mhm.
supposed to be here to find us a way out.
Yeah.
And she's like, she was so mad. I was like, I didn't think he would use you, but
Yeah.
he used you. And I said, look, we're protected now. And she was so mad at me. And I was like, I can't help what the Lord does. All
Right,
I can
right,
do
right.
is ask for it. And the Lord's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But this is just like, there are just so many instances as to like the Lord, like, if you're going to ask for protection and you're going to ask like for God to take you out of certain situations,
Mhm.
he's going to take you out of them in like 0.30 seconds. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah, ask and you shall receive.
Literally. But that's why, like, when it comes to these things, whether it's getting a tattoo, whether it's, getting engaged,
Yeah.
or trying to get married, taking your kids, to go trick or treating, or
Mhm.
like allowing them to dress up,
Yeah.
um, just all of those controversial topics of
Yeah.
like what makes a good Christian, like those are, I feel like they're only controversial because everybody has different opinions. Like these are things where like people either cherry pick verses,
Yeah.
or these are instances where like people just have their thoughts, people just have their opinions or their misconceptions, or they don't know the full story, you know because if I was like our family friends and I met
Mhm.
Silas, or after 28 days Silas and I got like married, like dad would probably be like, I put you into this world, I'm gonna take you out now, kind of situation.
I mean, well, at that point, you're no longer,
That's true. But like what I'm saying is like, those stories of course, sound crazy and like they do
Yeah.
work out, like nobody says that they don't.
Right.
Um but like obviously they're just, these topics are controversial or semi-controversial,
Yeah.
just because there's so many opinions around it, there's a lack of context, there's just a lot of those things. But like I trust in the Lord and I believe in the Lord that if I ask, he'll give me the answers that I
Yeah.
need, or he'll give me those convictions, even if it's just not even just the movies, but even the controversy around music. Like, should
Mhm.
Christians be listening to secular music?
Right.
Like, and there are some Christian influencers that are like, I don't see a problem with, some secular music, as
Mhm.
long as it's not like talking about, sexual
Right, right.
things, but if it's just
But
like,
that's so hard, like, even since basically the beginning, like,
mm,
or if you go back and listen to older music,
uh-huh,
it's
the hidden
so the
messages,
yes, there's so many hidden messages and you're like, "Dang, I used to jam out to this and I
right?
did not know that's what that meant." Like if you're
Exactly.
ever watching like a movie that that's another thing too. Movies sometimes that are made for like kids or like Shrek specifically,
Yes.
or like a lot of DreamWorks movies, but there's a lot of hidden
Hidden
messages and you
messages,
don't get
yes.
that until you're older. I'm like, I was laughing at that when I was a
I
little kid.
know.
But no, even but yes, like with movies or excuse me, with music, there's songs, I mean, they're not as out there
They
as
are
they are
now.
now,
Yeah.
which is crazy because they'll straight up tell you,
About, yeah.
yeah, we
We
yeah,
won't get into
we
it, but
won't get
you
into
guys
that.
know.
But them songs out there that are talking about,
Privates and
yes,
what to do with that. Yeah.
yeah, no. Um, before, I mean, they would. they would say it,
They had
but
the subliminal messages, Silas said that one time he
uh-huh.
would sing. I'm not gonna say the lyrics, but it was by Florida about the whistle.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it's not straight up telling you what it is, but
He said he used to sing that all the time growing up, and then his sister was like, "Do you even know what you're singing about?"
mhm.
And he's like, "Yeah, like a whistle, like." And they're like,
No.
"No," and it was obviously the story is funny, but for real, that's why there's again semi controversial
Mhm.
opinions about
Yeah.
the kind of music Christians should be listening to. Now, thank the Lord, we have artists like Forrest Frank or Alex Jane who make Christian music, fun and poppy and something
Yeah,
that you want
yeah.
to listen to. I'm not saying that you don't want to listen to worship music all the time. I love
Yeah.
worship music,
Me too.
but sometimes you want to get a headbanger, and
Yeah.
um, but there's controversy around that because obviously Lucifer was, the angel of music.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's stuff like that, and those things too.
Yeah.
The Lord is gonna convict you because there are certain times. I'm not gonna lie. There's certain times I'll be in the car jamming out, and I'll be listening to certain songs, and then I feel convicted, and I'm like, okay, it's time to turn on my worship music.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's time to worship with the Lord, because I also have to remember that in the same way that I'm going to lift my hands and praise the Lord, that the songs that I sing and the hands that I when I'm going like this woot woot, or I'm
Mhm.
singing and
Mhm.
stuff like that, it's the same kind of motion, but it's not me glorifying the Lord.
Right, right.
And there's certain convictions that I start to get,
Mhm.
um and again, the Lord will convict you. Whether sometimes He'll convict you without you even asking for
Mhm.
it. So, but what we're saying in all of these
Yeah.
controversies is you know their opinions.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one thing about an opinion. It's like
Yeah,
there's it's not facts.
yeah,
I mean, everybody has an opinion. Um but yeah, I mean, yeah, just I mean, I can't remember the verse, but I know it says, to guard your heart, your mind, your
hmm,
ears, um your eyes, and we have to, and then teach our young ones, and that's one of the things like I've tried, with your brother, and even going back to like Halloween, where we've allowed him to go trick or
hmm,
treating. And the past couple years, the house that we were living at previously, what we would do is set up the projector and sit out in the front of the house and play a movie on our garage door.
yes, yes,
And so, like, it was funny because the neighbors across the street that were handing out candy, because they didn't have kids, so they weren't trick or treating, they were just handing out candy.
yeah,
They're like, "Oh, what movie are you gonna play next year? We're gonna be out here same time next year." And it was something that we were getting into, and I think your brother liked more sitting watching the movie and handing out candy. I think he
yeah.
enjoyed it. And I mean, that's something where we might do
Yeah,
again, maybe set up a screen or something, and
yeah.
whether it's just us, um
But
I mean, I don't know about going in trick or treating, but you know
we'll just buy the candy the next day when it's on sale.
yeah, it's literally 50% off the next day. Is crazy. But find different ways
Yeah, they really
of
are.
of celebrating him.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm happy my mom showed me, is making those baggies of like, life without Jesus is pointless,
Life without Jesus is pointless.
um
It talks about those seeds again,
yeah,
it's so simple.
yeah,
Choosing to not engage with the
yeah,
worldly aspects of
that,
Halloween,
yeah.
and to choose, hey, you know what? I know these parents are choosing to take their kids trick or treating, so I'm going to use this opportunity to spread the message, whether
Mhm.
it's simply, a verse, or, the little Christian, kids' activities, like stickers, or the
Oh,
little
yeah.
puzzles, or how our church did it, where they would hand out the bracelets. And
Mhm.
so, obviously, our city, the pastor would say he'd go into different places and he would see throughout our city. people wearing our church bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple,
It is, yeah.
but it plants such a big seed.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to last week's episode is being ambassadors of heaven. We got to spread the word.
Spread the
Spread,
word.
yeah. No, we are called to spread the word, and I think there's so many ways that we can do it. Even with tattoos. Going
Yeah.
back to the tattoos, if you were to ever get a tattoo, a simple little cross there,
Yeah.
um that could be like, oh, what made you get that? That could be part of your story, your testimony, and spreading faith, spreading Jesus
That's
and
what
love,
I'm
you know.
saying. I'm saying, like,
So
y'all already know how I feel about the tattoos, but this is what I mean. Like, I feel like if you're gonna mark your something, if you're gonna mark yourself with something, mark yourself with Jesus.
yes,
Mark yourself
let it
with the
have
Lord.
purpose,
Have
and
purpose.
Jesus is
Yes,
our purpose. Heaven
exactly,
is our purpose.
guys. I so glad this was a fun episode of talking
Yeah.
about the different controversies. This was honestly just for laughs and giggles, but to honestly just share our opinions and
Yeah.
um just to really talk about it. Like, honestly, if you guys have like your opinions, please share them. There's nothing wrong with it. We're
Yeah.
not going to judge you. We're not going to cancel you either
Yeah.
because you believe that it's okay for people to get tattoos, or you don't
No,
think people
yeah.
should get tattoos, or maybe you were that person that got that ring by spring. No judgment. I pray that you guys have a happy marriage, but no, this I really like this episode. I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
if there's other semi controversial topics
Yes,
that you want us to
please let
talk
us
about,
know.
we'll do a part two to the semi controversial aspects of
Yeah.
I was gonna say Christianity, but being a Christian, the things that we quote unquote can and cannot do.
Yeah.
Um, that
It's
isn't so much biblical, I
yeah.
guess.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it's like, what is something that you thought was in the Bible that really wasn't? Like, have you ever seen those videos?
Oh
Like,
snap!
oh my gosh, I can't think of any right now, but it's basically like that,
That's true.
like
Yeah,
just, but yeah, send us what you think, or if what you
I
have a
would
question
love.
about, we'd love to answer.
I would love that. Yes, I would love a part two to this.
This
Um,
was really fun.
this was fun. This was just us sharing our opinions.
Yeah,
This is a great way to start off the month of October.
I know.
If you can't tell, this whole month there is no real series, but we are still going to talk about some amazing topics here on this channel,
Yeah.
and we're just really really excited for what the month of October has for you guys. And we can't wait to see you guys next week again, 11 a.m. CST and 12 p.m. EST, guys.
Yes.
Don't forget Bible, beverage, and a cozy spot to watch. You can see us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And like I said, we're popping off on social media. So find us on Instagram, TikTok, and go follow us on our Facebook community group under SIPC Community. And we out.
All right. Have a blessed week.
Have a blessed week. Bye.
Bye.